If you're working with JavaScript, then you're working with text. It's just everywhere. From user input to displaying data on a screen, strings are pretty much the backbone of how our apps communicate. But are you really using them to their full potential? Well, today, we're going to find out. We are going to pop open the JavaScript string toolbox and really dig into what's inside. We won't just look at how to do things, but also why they work the way they do. That way, you can write code that's not just functional, but cleaner and way more efficient. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the absolute foundation, just creating strings. Then we'll look at their basic anatomy and uncover a super important, unchangeable rule about them. After that, we'll open up our search and cutting toolkits to find and slice up text, before we finish with the secret to comparing strings like a pro. Okay, first up, the absolute basics. You can't really work with text if you can't create it, right? And JavaScript gives us a few different ways to get this job done. You've got your traditional single and double quotes, and for the most part, they're pretty much identical. But then you have the more modern approach, backticks. And let me tell you, those backticks, they unlock some serious power. And this right here really shows you the difference. Single and double quotes are fine for simple one-line text, but backticks, oh, they are a major upgrade. You can write strings that stretch across multiple lines with no problem. And this is the big one. You can embed variables or even function calls directly inside the string. I mean, just look at this example. See how clean that is? We're calling a function and its result gets plopped right into our string. This feature is called template literals, and it is an absolute game changer for building dynamic text on the fly. Okay, so we've created a string. Now let's pop the hood and see what it's actually made of. There are a couple of fundamental properties you are going to use constantly. Every single string has a dot length property. Super important, it's not a function, so no parentheses, okay? But check out this little detail. The string myN has a length of 3, not 4. So why is that? Well, it's because special escape characters, like that new line character, /n, they only count as one single character. Now, to grab just one character, you've got two main options. Bracket notation is the classic way, but it has a limitation. You can't use negative numbers to count from the end. The newer .at method, though, it totally can. str.at -1 is a super clean and readable way to get the very last character of any string. It's incredibly handy. Now for one of the most important concepts about strings in JavaScript. This is something that confuses a lot of people when they're starting out. Strings are what we call immutable. So your first thought might be, okay, I'll just access a character by its index and assign it a new value, right? Here you're trying to change the uppercase H in high to a lowercase h. Seems simple enough. But it just fails, silently. You don't even get an error message, it just doesn't work. This is immutability in action. You cannot alter a string once it has been created. So the big question is, how do you get around this? The workaround is to build a brand new string. You take the parts you want, like the new lowercase h, you combine them with the parts of the old string you want to keep, and then you reassign that completely new string back to your original variable. You're not changing the old string, you are replacing it entirely. All right, let's open up our search toolkit. A huge part of working with strings is finding things inside them, and lucky for us, JavaScript gives us a fantastic set of tools for exactly that. Here are your four main search methods. If you need to know where something is, use .indexOf. But if you just need a simple yes or no answer, .includes is your best friend. It's just so much cleaner and more readable. And for checking the ends of a string, .starts with and .ends with are perfectly named and do exactly what you think. Now for a real-world pro tip, what if you want to find a word, but you don't care if it's uppercase or lowercase? Simple. You convert the entire string to lowercase first, and then you run your .include search. This is a fundamental technique used in everything from search bars to spam filters. So once you've found what you're looking for, you often need to pull it out. Welcome to the cutting toolkit, where we're going to slice and dice some substrings. Now JavaScript gives us three methods here, and this table breaks them down really well. They all seem similar, but .slicing is the one you should probably commit to memory. It's powerful. It supports negative indexes for counting from the end, just like .at, and it's the most versatile of the bunch. Finally, let's talk about comparing and sorting. Now, this seems simple on the surface, but JavaScript has a little quirk here that can lead to some very strange results if you're not careful. Take a look at this. Alphabetically, you'd expect Zealand to come after Austriac, right? It starts with a Z, the other one starts with an O. So which one does JavaScript think is greater? And the answer is Oosterweg. Yeah, JavaScript considers it greater than Zealand. This is obviously not the alphabetical order we use as humans. So what on earth is going on here? Well, here's the secret. JavaScript isn't looking at letters. It's looking at numbers. Every character has an underlying numeric code from the UTF-16 standard, and in that standard, all uppercase letters come before all lowercase letters. That's why Z has a lower code than A, and why that special O character has a code that just happens to be higher than both. Luckily, there's a proper tool for this job. .localCompare. This method compares strings according to the alphabetical rules of a specific language, just like a person would. It returns a negative number if the first string comes before the second, which is exactly what we expect here. So for correct sorting, this is the method you have to use. And there you have it, the essential JavaScript string toolbox. We've covered everything from creating and inspecting to searching, cutting, and the right way to compare. You now have a really powerful set of tools to manipulate text in any way you need. The only question left is, what are you going to build with them?